Okay, well, it's 2 o'clock here in the UK. Sorry about that. So let's get started. Well, hello everybody and welcome to Impact in Action. It's great to see so many of you here with us today and we're really looking forward to this interesting session. So my name is Charlotte Freegard and I work in the client success team here at Vertigo Ventures. So I'm one of the organisers of Impact in Action. So I'll be here to look after the session and answer any questions as we go along. So as this is our first event, I wanted to just spend a few moments introducing the series before handing over to our fabulous speaker, John Hyatt, who's kindly agreed to kick off the session for us. So Impact in Action enables individuals to demonstrate the various types of and examples of impact, whether that be social, environmental, economic, or any other. So of course, even though REF is now over, the need for impact continues to grow. So for those of you who are not from the UK and who may not be aware of what REF is, this is our national assessment framework and it stands for Research Excellence Framework. So in the absence of REF, the importance of impact should not just disappear. And one of the best ways to appreciate the fantastic work being carried out by people all over the world is to really see that in action. So with that in mind, we've convened this series of events, starting today with John Hyatt of Liverpool John Moores University, and following up next month with Nicola Grattan of Staffordshire University. So unfortunately and fortunately, Christmas then comes soon after. So we'll be taking a quick break until the new year, after which we'll be looking to expand this initial UK series into other territories such as Australia. So I hope you've all had a chance to look at John's project on Track Impact. So for anyone who isn't aware, Track Impact is our new research collaboration platform. So we really encourage everyone to sign up to their free account. And for any of you who are existing users of Impact Tracker, you can already start publishing your projects. So Track Impact is really designed to align impactful projects against the United Nations SDGs and help researchers attract collaborators to their projects with the view of making research accessible globally. So currently we're tracking some fantastic projects from America through to Australasia, and we're looking to keep on connecting people with research projects that really matter to them. So we're also on the lookout for more Impact in Action presentations. So if you have any projects that you think may be interesting and any that you'd also like to get published onto Track Impact, then we'll include details in the follow-up email. So keep an eye out on your inbox after the session. So just a few housekeeping notes quickly. You can use the chat or Q&A functions to ask any questions that you might have, either about the series, John's project, or Track Impact. But please bear in mind that John will have to disappear shortly after the presentation. So we'll endeavour to capture and answer as many of your questions as we can. And if not, we'll get back to you through a follow-up email shortly after. So with all of that covered, I'd like to hand it over to you, John.
Okay.
If I stop sharing, you can...
I'll share then. Thank you. Thank you very much, Charlotte.
No problem.
Okay. Is everybody seeing that screen, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd like to talk about a project that I've been involved in for about 4 years now, and it's not a project that's finished yet. I'm director of the Institute of Art and Technology at Liverpool School of Art and Design at Liverpool John Moores University, and it was a project looking at an area of Liverpool that the map for the capital of culture in 2008 just simply said it was red light district. That was the only thing it said on the map. It's a poor area. It's suffered extreme unemployment, education and skills deprivation. It's been in the bottom 5% for income and bottom 200 of the small areas for health and disability. And it's only 1% green, and it was in the top 10% for crime. So basically, if we did anything, it would be an improvement. It was that sort of situation. So I worked with, I must say that this presentation is very much about my sort of stuff because it's about research impact, but it's very much a team effort, and I worked with business owners and community leaders and a whole team in the Fabric District to try to regenerate the district, but my specific role was regeneration through the arts, a series of festivals and projects. And in 2017, we rebranded the district of Islington as the Fabric District, and we produced a vision document, which I won't go through in detail, but I just wanted to stress the importance of a good graphic presentation, a good design, and for that we use gingermonkeydesign.com. And these are the sort of pages in our vision document. You can see it was well presented, but it was about defining where the district is. It's that shape on the map on the right, its history, where it is in relation to other parts of Liverpool. It's surprisingly close to Lime Street Station and surprisingly close to the universities, considering that there's absolutely at the time there was nothing to make it a place to visit, but more a place to hurry through. And we did an audit of things that already existed there. Companies such as Try and Lily, who make hats for the police force, who've been there for years. They hand make hats of various types. And we also, with the design company, came up with a palette of colours with which to represent the district. So it's a way of representing, if you like, a deprived district as giving it a brand, giving it something new. So in addition to that, I personally authored a bespoke fab art strategy, and it was a unique methodological model which I based on an analysis of worldwide comparative districts, precedents in the uses of art movement, the art utile movement, and my own experiential knowledge from 30 years of working in the field. Just to fill you in on some of that, I used to be in Manchester, and I worked, those are my windmills, a public sculpture in Exchange Square in Manchester, Manchester's Tilted Windmills, and I was on the board of the Cultural Industries Development Service for Manchester, and produced with 3 others a vision for Manchester Oxford Road, which has been enacted, and an art strategy called Avenue the Giants, which led to various renovations of the Whitworth Art Gallery and the construction of Home in Manchester, the new art gallery that used to be Corner House. So a long history of working in this area was brought to this project, and the strategy had various aspects. I've taken all the paragraphs out for you, but it basically went from a mission statement through to a statement of value, aims, key sentences to use in any publicity or social media, a list of stakeholders, keywords to describe the area, the values of what we wanted to do, and a program. And the program had 6 subsections in order to develop the arts in the area and develop the area through the arts. Interpretation of the area, animation of the area, involvement of the people in the area, profiling of the area, promotion of the area, and sustainability. And then it ended with recommendations for implementation and good practice and some concrete actions. You can see the photographs of the area in the background. So I embedded myself as a director on the Fabric District CIC, which we formed, and I've taken an active role really in applying my own research, which I believe to be research of high quality, to the local political context, and had a strategy of a middle out methodology. So in the very early days, I took a lot of the responsibility, took a lot of the lead, walked around talking to people, involving people, getting them to to buy into what we tried to do, but it was largely self-driven. And then the methodology was to gradually withdraw over the coming years so that other people took control. So I employed multiple components of my own research in the methodology, and one major strategy was the Fabric District Festival. And the first one was in 2018. I've been going around Liverpool saying, why isn't Liverpool doing something to celebrate 50 years since May 1968? And in the end, Brian Biggs from the Blue Coat Gallery said, well, why don't you then? And so he threw it straight back at me, and I thought, well, we need to do a Fabric District launch. Let's do a festival celebrating 50 years since May 1968 at the same time. So that was the theme, as a photograph of the launch event. And to do this, we had to convert derelict warehouses that had been empty for years into art galleries. So this one we converted to show an exhibition of prints by John Hartfield. These prints I'd found neglected and in disrepair in the archive of Liverpool John Moores. They've been gifted by John Hartfield's widow, John Hartfield being a famous anti-Nazi poster artist from the 1920s, 30s, and renovated the posters and framed them and made them presentable. And this was the first time they were exhibited. This is the same space that you saw before. And that led to, just to put this in context, this was 3 days in the Fabric District, but that led to this work being included in Sotheby's in August 2019, and a 3-month-long, 4 months long nearly, show that I curated with Four Corners Gallery in London in 19 and 20. So it may have been 3 days in the Fabric District as an initiator, but it took the Fabric District out to the world. And I also did a series of talks, this one with John J. Hartfield, who's John Hartfield's grandson. But this Hartfield exhibition was staged in exactly the same place as A History of the Scotty Press, which is the local community newspaper, which has also been going 50 years. So the Scotty Press community from Everton, working class community from Everton, came to see the Scotty Press. The art community from places like Walker Art Gallery came to see the John Hartfield, and the two communities met in the space. And this was a deliberate strategy a strategy of mixing people and getting people to come to the Fabric District. I did other shows. This one was a show of photographs by Chuck Rappaport, famous American photographer who photographed Marilyn and The Loving Spoonful. And I asked him if he'd got any unseen photographs from '68, which he allowed me to use. Excuse me. And then a whole series of exhibitions. We converted multiple warehouse spaces into galleries. These are just some of the exhibitions that took place. And there, the pseudo-psychedelic adventures of Clean Machine. We constructed a street gallery, which you can see on the bottom right, which enabled us to take the work, to turn the art gallery inside out, if you like, and put the inside out on the street, and allowed us to show large new works, this work by Aisling Davis and myself. We also managed to do exhibitions of the archives of Tryon Lilly, for example, the hat company that I talked about, where they'd kept hats from the last 50 years. We did fashion events, quite radical fashion events. We took situationist posters from 1968 and turned them into a fashion collection. That was something I did with Mary Lamb, whose fabrication fashion studio moved to the Fabric District and has been working there from then until now. Those are examples of the work on the right. We had a club night, a pop-up club, which was hosted by my dead self, who's called See More Clearly, with various acts, a band, a house band, Tom Hyatt, who I believe is my son and is on this webinar, played some of his music, and then an original film from India, and Sunitha travelled from India to sing Indian transcendental ragas for us. She'd always been a Beatles fan and always wanted to visit Liverpool. So I was trying to make a very local festival into an international event. Some more events. We included as many venues as we could. We had talks at the Walker Art Gallery to get people to come to the Fabric District. And we had talks at the Brain Charity, which is our local charity, and an exhibition of paintings by people who are clients of the Brain Charity, look after people with neurological diseases. We had children's events, that's children painting on the bottom right, history events, bringing stuff out of archives, the Beatles' White Album. And then 1,000 people attended, so not bad for a first festival. And the second festival, 2,000 people attended. And this is the second festival is the social fabric, this social fabric. It's where I deliberately stepped back. And in terms of my research, I showed an exhibition, a solo exhibition that I'd staged in Los Angeles previously, John Hyatt, My Brush with Angels. Those are the works from it. Originally shown in 2015, but I restaged it in 2019 in the Fabric District with some added works in that same space, which is now being occupied by a company called Scale, which is a photographic studio run by Sonny McCartney, Paul McCartney's nephew. There's the exhibition on the far wall with a sculpture exhibition in front of it. That's called Across the Universe. Another club night with poem events about Liverpool and Ruby Tingle in performance. And my performance outfit called Mimoids did an ad-lib live performance. Then the third festival, we had 2,000 for the second festival, so we were optimistic for the third festival. And the plan was very much to make the third festival very international. And we're in quite late stages of development, and I was talking to other areas who were doing similar regenerative projects around the world, in Portugal and in Ireland. And they were going to come, and we were going to have a debate, which would be online as well, about how to develop these districts without submitting to the dangers of gentrification, and the people that are there, the artists that are there initially for cheap studios and things, don't get pushed out by the property prices. So very aware of the dangers of doing this sort of work. And in a sense, the Baltic area in Liverpool, which is a collaborative area, we work with them, they were experiencing that sort of problem where prices at the edge of the Baltic area were now so expensive that people were looking for somewhere else to move to. So the Fabric District became somewhere where they were considering moving to. And then, of course, ironically, the festival was called Get Connected, and then COVID hit, so we had to postpone it. So the question was, what do we do in the interim? So I created a solo exhibition of new works that I've done called John Hyatt Walk With Me, using that street gallery that I showed you before, and it was the only exhibition that was open in the UK at the time, because every other gallery had closed. So taking the gallery inside out onto the street actually worked for us. So we had the own exhibition in the UK that was open 24 hours a day and 24/7. So this is what it looked like. So in terms of impact in action, this multimodal research, over 3 years as festival director, researcher, curator, co-curator, educationalist. We had a lot of education events. In total, 4,066 people visited events involving 200 creatives from 3 continents. You can see the list there. There were 80 bespoke new works, 22 original exhibitions, 5 newly created venues, 15 new fashion collections were shown. This is not all work by me, these fashion collections. 9 unique performances. We opened 2 clubs, and we had 42 original street artworks, which are not the gallery, but actually on the walls. We've involved 14 businesses, 4 museums, 1 community newspaper, 1 charity, and we've done various community feedback events where we do questionnaires, etc., to find out what people are thinking about what we're doing. We've done 18 pedagogic events with 4 universities, 60 students, 1 junior school, and 48 children. And the tapestry, which was the factory that you first saw, which I always called extreme curating, where I was actually hanging a work with my left hand while knocking a wall down with a lump hammer with my right hand to put a fire exit in. That building became the tapestry. The tapestry now houses DUS Liverpool, which is a drop-in tech facility. It's got the fashion hub that do various events in relation to fashion and SMEs and helping people create new businesses. It's got 2 bars now. There's a whiskey bar, and lately Melodic Distraction have moved in. So what was a derelict factory from Time Tunnel actually won the Inspired Spaces North award in 2018. And we were recognised by the Walker as an exciting new cultural quarter. We're right next door to the Walker, and we've been collaborative since the start. Open Eye, the gallery, the photographic galleries, held its Look Festival using the Street Gallery, and Liverpool Biennial are now using the Fabric District to cite artworks. Jason Abbott, the chair of the Fabric District CIC, said, "The intervention with the biggest impact on hearts and minds of locals and visitors to the district is the emergence of art and culture as a key tool in our plan to involve new and existing communities and have them view this forgotten area as a safe place to work, visit and play." So that's a major endorsement of which I'm proud, because art wasn't the only thing we were doing. We're also greening the district. We're also looking at street layouts. We were attracting new people to the district, including a very large church, interestingly. The Brain Charity CEO, Nanette Meller, said, it brought a new perspective on who we are, that's the Brain Charity, and where we perceive ourselves to be within the local community. And it gave us a chance to assess our past, our current position, and what the future might bring. Up until the event, we had never really reached out to those around us in this way. So I think that's a great endorsement for the connectivity that we've managed to achieve, and new collaborations that have come from it. And the Fabric District was officially recognised as part of the city's cultural map, no longer just red light district, an investment portfolio in 2020. So, a long story told very briefly. However, the story continues. we're planning the 3rd Fabric District Festival, and the theme is Hidden Treasure, and that will be May the 5th to the 8th, 2020. I'm very much open to any collaborations, especially internationally. If anybody's interested in getting in touch, then please do. And we're basing it around a fairly unique fairy story, folk tale, if you like, called Seven Golden Thimbles. Because once upon a time, many years ago, in far-off lands, 7 golden thimbles were given to 7 special children by 7 wise grandmothers. Though a thimble is a small metal thing to wear on your finger to stop you being pricked when sewing, these thimbles were made of gold and were magic. Each one, if tipped up, spilled out hidden treasures and arts. So the idea is that we're using that as a conceit, and the festival will, its brand, if you like, will revolve around the 7 golden thimbles. We'll have a hunt around the area to find those thimbles that have been left, and there'll be various other hidden, in inverted commas, cultural treasures. So, for example, we're planning a large fashion collection which is made from, which is reusable, using reusable materials, recycled materials. So a large fashion event. We're bringing out things from hiding that nobody knows about, special individuals from the district, and special things from the district's history. So very much ongoing, very much an exciting project that I love being involved in. And please, if anybody wants to join us in any way, then please get in touch. Okay, I'll leave it there then, Charlotte.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, John. That was a really fantastic transformation you've made there. And we're really grateful for you taking the time out to talk with us today and share everything with us. I think we'll have to take a trip down to see the next upcoming festival as well.
Yeah, so, very welcome.
I appreciate. Pardon?
We could do an event.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely have something like that. It sounds really interesting. I appreciate that you'll have to drop off shortly, but we've got one question in the Q&A if you have time to answer it, or we can follow up afterwards. Just asking, did you exhibit any work from local artists who are based or from the Fabric District?
Yes. The majority, I mean, part of the purpose was to showcase local artists. And yes, various exhibitions were by local artists, especially in this social fabric, because the theme, this social fabric, was very much created in order to do that. Mm. So it was about making a social fabric out of the various threads of community that were there. Yeah, great. It's really interesting. So the strategy is actually, Charlotte, to try and show the international with the local on an equal platform. No, exactly. That's really important, to give each their own space. So that's a really great project you've got there. If there's no more questions, then if anybody also is interested in presenting at a future Impact in Action, or they want any more information about Track Impact, then we'll be following up with an email in which we'll share the recording, and also some more information about our next session, which will be on the 9th of December, which will be with Nicola Grattan of Staffordshire University. So that's the 9th of December, and we'll send a sign up and registration form as well in that follow-up email. So if there's no more questions, then we can wrap up the session there, and hopefully we'll see everybody next time. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Brilliant. Thank you.